Shri Ramanaya Arunachala Antargyascha Bahirvidudaktiviram Jyotirmayam Sashvatam Sthanam Prapya Virajate Vinamatam Ajnanam Unmulayan Pashyan Vishwam Apitam Mullasatiyo Visvasya Pare Paraha Tasmai Shri Ramanaya Lokagurave Sokasya Hantre Namaha. I shared a couple of files just now in the WhatsApp group. I don't know how many people will be able to pull it out now, but what it contains is the English transliteration of Arunachala Mahatmyam, which is seven verse selected by Bhagavan from Skanda Mahapuranam, from the portion Arunachala Mahatmyam of Skanda Mahapuranam. And they were compiled. That is the first chant that we do on Monday, every Monday evening in the Parayanam. That is followed by Arunachala Aksharamanamali. So this we'll just to start on an auspicious note and to gain the Arunachala Smarana, we are going to see the 7th verse, which narrates the greatness of Arunachala in many ways, in number of ways. If you see in Arunachala Mahatmyam, as I told this from Skanda Mahapuranam, which Bhagavan has actually written the entire Arunachala Mahatmyam part of Skanda Mahapuranam in his own hand. Fully he wrote. I mean, it's such a volume, such a big thing. He sat in the night without no electricity, whatever, with some flickering light. He burnt the midnight oil and he wrote. The whole thing was written in his hand, and we have it published in the Sanskrit Bhagavan's handwriting book called Swarnabahu. That book contains a good portion of what Bhagavan has written in his own handwriting. He copied, and from that he selected some 7 verses on different occasions and on different time, and composed them in Tamil, and composed a Tamil equivalent poem of those 7 verses. And this is what we start. This is how we start singing the Monday chanting every day. The first, so it starts with one of the most auspicious way of Bhagavan's sketch of Arunachala. The picture of Arunachala, you see, was drawn by Bhagavan himself on when Kujaswami is one of his old devotees, and he was sort of helping Bhagavan. He was giving physical massage services and other things for Bhagavan amongst 5 or 6 other people. So Kujaswami gave a notebook, his notebook to Bhagavan, and asked him to write something on it. And when he came back, Bhagavan has drawn this sketch of Arunachala, fully depicting the entire Arunachala, from left to right, how it starts and how it ends. And then he wrote. So on top is the sketch drawn by Bhagavan of Arunachala, and then on the bottom he's written something in Tamil, if you can see. That is the first 2 lines. Karunar Navamai Karuda Gadi Nalgum Arunachala Shivam Idam. It means Karunar. Karunai means grace, compassion. So the ocean, Arnavam means ocean. So Karunai Arnavam is the first 2 words. Karunar Navamai. Like the ocean of compassion, conferring liberation on those who but think of Arunachala, is Arunachala Shiva. That is, Arunachala is a kshetram that is called Smaranat Kaivalyam, is given by Arunachala. So Arunachala, you have to think it's enough. Such is the grace of Arunachala. You don't need to learn. How many people have the good fortune? You see, I am sitting here thinking of Arunachala. I can't do anything. I can think of Arunachala. But the grace of Arunachala is such that you think it's enough. Don't worry. Don't struggle too much. When there is an opportunity, they always say, you can go to Arunachala only when there is a cardinal call from the Lord himself. He has to call you. Before that, how much ever you plan, you are not going to be able to achieve. So he gives us a great opportunity. Just think of Arunachala. That is enough. It's the simplest thing anybody can do. We can always keep thinking of Arunachala, who is going to stop us wherever we are. We be in the most poverty, or we be in the lap of luxury. We be in a faraway country, wherever we can think of Arunachala, and that is enough, he says. That is the first line Bhagavan composed. This was composed by Bhagavan. This is not part of Skanda Purana. This is Bhagavan's own, conceptualization of Arunachala, where he says the ocean of compassion, conferring liberation on those who but think of it, just think, is Arunachala Shiva. That is, if somebody, what is Arunachala Shiva? The one who bestows the compassion on you just on thinking, that is Arunachala Shiva for us. I'll chant the sentence one more time, and I'll chant it as slowly as I should, or I can. Karunar Navamai, Karunai Arnavamai. That is, when you join in Tamil, it will come like this for the sake of grammar. Karunar Navamai, Karuda Gati Nalgum. Gati means, the final Sayujyam, the final liberation. So, Gati Nalgum. Nalgum means giving. Arunachala Shivam Idam. Id means this. This is the Arunachala Shiva. So, first thing you start in the Saturday morning, thinking of the Arunachala, the hill Arunachala, project it in your mind, or see it in the form of a picture or in your screen, whatever, and think about Arunachala. This is every time, whenever we get an opportunity, we should be doing this. We should be thinking of Arunachala, 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 Arunachala. That is all we need to do. So, a great way to start every day. The moment we come from we shun the Swapna Avastha or Sushupti Avastha and then come into Jagra Avastha, the first thing, we should cultivate the habit of thinking of Arunachala. Don't do anything, just think of Arunachala. Project it in front of our mind is capable of doing that very beautifully. It can project the picture of Arunachala right in front of the eyes, and we'll meditate on Arunachala a few minutes before we even jump out of the bed. It's a great way to start a day, Arunachala. So that is the first sentence. Karunar Navamai Karuda Gadi Nalgum Arunachala Shivam Gida. Why? I'll put it in meter, because that way it is easy to learn rather than learning word. If you put up music or if you set it to some tune or something, it will be easy. So we'll try maximum to follow how it is chanted in the ashrama. Karunar Navamai Karuda Gadi Nalgum Arunachala Shivam Gida. So that is the first line. Now, the next verse is composed by Muruganar Swami. Muruganar Swami, he used to a lot of time, he was instrumental in instigating Bhagavan to compose lot of works. Otherwise, Bhagavan was like Achala, he'll be sitting like that. There won't be any difference between Arunachala hill and Bhagavan. Both of them will be as, like stone like. Both of them will be granite like in Bhagavan will be sitting and grazing in one. Hours together, he will be grazing on one point. According to us, he is looking at something, but he is not looking at anything. He does not use this eye to look in any way. He has killed his mind. Where is mind? First, you have to, how does the process of vision work? First, we see an object, there is lens in the eye, and it projects it through the lens, the light from the object goes in to the mind in a reverse form, and all that's optics. So let's not get into that. And it passes the information to Manas, and the Manas is the one that parses the information. It sort of okay, fine, something is there. The image of the object that we are seeing is formed in the mind. In the mind. This is called the object that we see is called Gochara in Sanskrit. All objects that we are able to see are called Gochara. And Pratya Gochara is taking place at the level of mind, and then the mind, okay, fine, it has got the object. Now it passes the information to the intellect, to Buddhi. The Buddhi decides what object is this. Mind only receives from the eye, it conceptualizes the availability of an object, gives it a shape, and passes it on to the Buddhi. The Buddhi rationalizes and says, oh, this is a tree, this is a window, whatever. And then this is how we see whatever we see on a daily basis, is the science part of the seeing. But the science stops at the level of getting it from the eyes and passing it on to the intellect. It does not say how actually the final answer is obtained. This buddhi is not capable of finally deciding. It has to go to the Atman. The Atman has to illuminate the buddhi. So inside the chain, first we have the object of our knowledge, then we have the vision or the instrument, the apparatus called eye. Then within the eye we have manas, which actually receives the information from the instrument, and then it passes all to the buddhi, and the buddhi decides what it is. But how is the buddhi able to do that? Only because of the light provided by Atman, which is behind buddhi. So this is the chain. First, there is Atman or self, then we have the intellect, then we have the manas, then we have the instrument of cognition or hearing, whatever. All the panchendriya are included here. Then we have the object. So the highest one on the leftmost side is Atman. So Atman is always drik. It is never a drishyam. Whereas everything else is a drik at some point in time, but only in respect to the next level on the right side. So intellect is drik when compared to for manas. Manas is drik when compared to your eyes. Eyes is drik when compared to the object. An object is always drishyam. So drik is what is the ultimate in the chain, if it go. So drishyam is what is seen. So ultimately nobody can see Atman, nobody can hear Atman, whatever it is. Even though we can use word and other thing, it is only at an intellectual level we can do all this. But you can only be Atman. Atman can be nothing else other than being. It is the Sat. It is the Sat part, the being part of the existence that we have. So this is the process in which it happens. And Muruganar always used to bring to Bhagavan quite a lot of times. He is the one instrumental to instigate Bhagavan to write lot, because Bhagavan was Achala like the hill himself. Unless he was really, because he had no intention, inclination to apply his mind to do any work. So he was always like that. But there is a very exceptional case in form of the Monday chanting we have after Aksharamana Malai, and there is a thing called Navamani Malai, and after that we have 11 stanzas to Arunachala and 8 stanzas. These two, Bhagavan did not take any prompt from anybody. Nobody asked him. He on his own he composed these two. That is because he says every day the opening verse will come to his mind in the morning, and he will say, what do I have to do with the words? I have nothing. He will try to ignore, but it was like a demon. It was possessing Bhagavan, and it was not allowing him to rest until he completes one stanza. So like that he composed these two verses on his own. All other, including Aksharamana Malai, there is a reason why it was composed, or there is a story behind it, and Upadesa Saram, Upadesa Undiyar, and all the other work, Appalapate, and Atma Vidya Kirtana, everything there is a reason. And out of that, Muruganar is responsible for him to compose Upadesa Sara, Upadesa Ulladu Narpadu, and Atma Vidya Kirtana. These three were composed on behest of, on the request from Muruganar. Now, Muruganar composed this stanza, the next stanza, Arunachala Tattva, and he takes it and goes and gives it to Bhagavan. Bhagavan reads that. Okay, the stanza goes like this: Buddhi Ahankaram. Always in our Vedantic literature, or especially in Advaita Vedantic literature, when we say Buddhi, it means Brahma. When we say Ahankaram, it means Vishnu. It's a symbolic representation of Brahma and Vishnu. So he wrote this stanza called Buddhi Ahankaram Pulambeida Ongum Matti Idayam Dan Marayavanum Balum Natta Ariyadu Nalam Kulaya Annar Matti Olir Annamalayinadu Meye. Okay, so I will let's see. If you see in the previous page, I think the meaning of that is the significance of Arunachala. That is on page 14, as it is listed in the paper that I have said. So it says, the appearance of Annamalai, also known as Arunachala, in front of Brahma and Vishnu, and to their utter distress, not being able to know. They were not able to. Arunachala took the stamba, the light stamba form in between Brahma and Vishnu, to suppress their ego as to find out who is bigger. And he took. And when Brahma went on top to find the head of the light column, and Vishnu dug down the earth in form of a bowl and went down to find the bottom portion, they were not able to do so. They were not able to comprehend or reach. And so that sequence is captured by Muruganar in this song. So the appearance of Annamalai in front of Brahma and Vishnu and their utter distress at not being able to know what it symbolizes. It symbolizes the heart center. They did not know. The Arunachala Tattva is heart. Arunachala is the heart of the entire creation, you can say, heart or the self, which shines of itself. Swayam Prakasam. Arunachala shines because that is the nature of self. That is the nature of Brahman. Brahman cannot be shown by anything. It can only shine on its own. That is why we say mind cannot reach Brahman. Why we say what cannot go there? Buddhi cannot go there. Manas, nothing can reach there. It has to only show itself. That is only the maximum level we can go. It is to the root of the ego or behind the ego. Suppress the ego so that it does not rises. But beyond that, we cannot go. It is the self that has to shine for itself. In absence of any thought, in absence of mind. The mind is suppressed, the self shines. And so how does the self shines? Or everything, how the mind or everything else is eliminated by the self, by the Atman. So, how does the Atman is known? It is known by itself. That is why it is always called Swayam Prakasha. There is nothing that can illuminate. They are self-explanatory. And that word is captured here in the word which shines of itself. While the intellect and ego are non-pulsed, seeking it. They are not able to reach. So this is the tattvam of Arunachala. So this stanza composed by Muruganar, and he gives it to Bhagavan. Arunachala tattvam written by Muruganar. And he gave it to Bhagavan. Bhagavan wrote, and Muruganar requested, this is the Arunachala tattvam I was able to write, but he gave it on the Kartikaya Deepam day. Then he said, can you compose Deepa Darshana Tattva? Deepa Darshanam, the big fire that is lit on top of Arunachala on Kartikaya Deepam, as to what it represents. Why are they lighting it? And what is the significance or meaning of lighting the Deepam on top of the hill? Muruganar requests Bhagavan. Bhagavan composes the next Deepa Darshana Tattva. Vittanuve nanam yenum madiyai neethu Buddhi idayate porundi ahanokal Advidamamei Ahachudar Bhumatti Yenum Annamalai Sudarkan Meye. Okay, the meaning we'll see. Tanu means body. Tanu Karanam we say. I think Tanu is a Sanskrit word if I'm right, originally. So, Tanuve Nanam. In this body, there is a feeling called I am the body that originates. That is the idea. Tanuve. So, that once that feeling is got, Nana Yenu Madi means a thought. A thought that is conjured by the mind. So Tanuve Nanam Yenu Madiyai Nit. So remove the idea that I am the body, which appears within each one of us in our mind, and merging the heart to realize the real, non-dual and effulgent self is the real significance of seeing the beacon on Annamalai, the center of the universe. Like the idea of the entire poem is when we have Deepa Darshana, when Deepam is lit on Kartikaya Deepam day on top of the hill, we see and we all get, everyone is possessed, everyone is taken away by the kind of feeling. You cannot describe that feeling. The significance of that feeling is when you see that, at that time, that body consciousness, I am the body feeling should drop. You should try to eliminate that feeling. That is the real meaning of seeing the Arunachala Deepam on top of the hill. So this was given by Bhagavan. If Tanuve Nanam, if this body is I, Yenu Madiyai Nit, remove that feeling. Buddhi Idayate Urundi. Buddhi, that is suppressing the mind. in heart. Heart in most of the Vedantic literature will mean self. Not the physical heart by any means, or not even the place within the body on the right side of the chest, where Bhagavan is given in Ulladhu Narpada Anubandham. He has told that is a place, but that was given as an answer to some people who are very, very involved in Raja Yoga Marga. For them, everything within the body they'll have to represent. Only then they'll get a good feeling, or they'll be convinced. Like Kundalini, like all the chakras, the 6 chakras, the Mooladhara, from Mooladhara to Sushmana, and so many other things are there. Sahasrara on top, and they have their own way of interpreting. For them, Bhagavan said that if on the right side of the chest is the Hridayam, not on the left side, which is the physical fleshy heart. That is the organ. That is a bodily organ. They are not at all concerned with that. On the right side, when you see that what is shining there, that is heart. This is a center. From the center, 2 fingers to the right. He gives that explanation. Bhagavan gave that explanation, and he said, people asked for from where are you quoting this, Bhagavan? He said, nobody. I don't need any authority. It's my feeling. It's my realization. Malayalam literature, from there it is clearly stated that the heart is on the right side of the chest. Right side, that is what. And he also said, whenever spontaneously anybody wants to say I, we point to the chest. We don't point to the left side of the chest at all. We always point to the right side. Which means there is something there. That is where the feeling of I falls or originates. This is again not ultimate truth. This is to satisfy some people who are used in some certain ways. For them, he said that. But the original heart, according to Vedantic literature, is nothing but the self. And another thing one will have to observe is, the heart cannot necessarily be on the right side of the chest or anywhere, because self is not in the body. The body is in the self. So when the body is in the self, how can the self again come in the body? Self is sarvyapa, everywhere it is spread across. There is not a single spot that Atman or Brahman or self, as we call it by many names, is not there. So we are there as an infinitesimal drop in the self, and not self in us. So it cannot be necessarily contained within the body. It is only the feeling that comes in the body initially, that when we have the I am the body, I am this body, okay, when I am shut by the boundary of this body, we think that the feeling of I, or I am within the body. But that feeling has to go. That is Arunachala Deepadarsana Tattvam as explained by Bhagavan here. So, Tanuve Nanam Enumadiya Neetu, that is removing the I am the body feeling. You remove that and merge your intellect, your buddhi inside the heart. That is in the self. Here the heart means self. Not within the body, it is the whole Atman. So merge your mind in the Atman. Advavidam Mei. Advavidam is in Tamil, Advaitam is called Advavidam. So whenever you hear the word Advavidam in Tamil, it means Advaitam. Advaitam or Mei, the truth called Advaita, is seen in the light that is lit in top of the hill. Agachura, that truth is also there within. That is the truth. The light is only a symbolic, what is lit on top of the hill. It is a symbolic light which is nothing but the self. Self of all. So, Ahachudar, which means internal light. Ahachudar Kangai, Mei, Matti enum Annamalai Chudarkan Meiye. This Mati here means heart or center. So that center is Annamalai Chudar. That heart center is nothing but Annamalai Chudar. Chudar means light or lamp, or you can call whatever. So Deepa Darshana Tattvam, Arunachala Tattvam, Muruganar says, Buddhi and Ahankaram, that is Vishnu and Brahma, they were not able to see what is Arunachalam, and they started lamenting, and while they were lamenting, the center, the column of light that appears in the center, Matti Olir Annamalai inadu Neyya. That is the truth of Arunachala. The light that comes in, and that light is nothing but yourself. So Arunachala is always equivalent to Atman or self in the internal meaning. In the external meaning, there is a personal God like Shiva, whatever you can call it. So every time, any utterances in Vedanta or any of these literature will have one internal meaning and one external meaning. The external meaning is for general public, for them to understand and enjoy and get the benefit and focus their mind on the thing, that is like Arunachala, the temple, what we see in temple, even the hill for the matter is external. For us to, they're all they symbolize, they remind us that Arunachala is there, Arunachala, think of Arunachala. For that sake, they come out of grace from they manifest. These are all manifestations. And what is within is inside meaning, Ahapparul, that is what Muruganar talks about here. And for that, Bhagavan was asked to talk about the Deepa Darshanam, what is lit on top of the hill Arunachala. He says, that is nothing but your own self. So, he says, when will you be able to know that it is a whole self? When you keep away the I am the body idea. The I am the body idea will have to drop. You will have to merge. So, you cannot confine the Atman to a small frame of 6 feet or 5 feet or whatever it is and 2 feet wide. No, this is not, you cannot control Atman. So, the idea, I am the body, will have to go. So, that is what he says. It tanuve nanam enumadiyai neat, removing the idea, I am the body, and merging the mind, intellect, whatever, the feeling in the heart. This heart is the self. Merge the heart. Merge the intellect in the heart. And see Advaitam, the Advaita that is forming, that is glowing in form of Arunachala Chuda. Arunachala inside. Arunachala on top of the hill, they are lighting. That light is nothing but your own light. That is your own self. So this is the meaning of the second stanza composed by Bhagavan. Now, from now comes these two are not a part of Arunachala Mahatmyam. From the next verse, Arunachala Mahatmyam starts and Bhagavan writes, I think seven verses, yes, 7 verses. And it's Nandi. First, Bhagavan writes about Nandi Vak. What Nandi, Nandikeshwara, what he says about Bhagavan, about Arunachala in Arunachala Mahatmyam of Skanda Mahapuranam. Nandi says, Aduve Talam, Arunachalam, Talam Yavilum Adigam. That is the place. Talam, that is the sthala. That sthala is called Arunachala. That sthala, Talam Yavilum Adigam, that is the highest of all possible sthalas. There is no sthala that is anywhere in comparison to Arunachala. Aduve Talam, Arunachalam, Talam Yavilum Adigam, highest of high. Nothing compares to it. Adu Bhuvi in Idayam, that is the heart of the entire creation. You can say Bhumi, but you have to take it as the entire creation. That is the heart center of the entire creation. Adu Bhumi in Idayam Hari, know this. Aduve Sivan Idayam Padiyam. That is the heart of Shiva. That is this creation's heart, that is the heart of Shiva. The heart of Shiva Idaya Padi. The place called Shiva's heart is also that. Adve Talam, Arunachalam, Talam Yavilum Adigam, Adu Bhumiyin Idayam Ari, Adve Shivan Idaya Padiyam, Muru Marumattalam. It is a secret place. Marumam means secret. This is a place, a secret place. Padiyam Avan Adile. And in this secret place, the Pati means, in Saiva Siddhanta, Pati, Pashu, Pasam are there. Pati means the Lord. Pashu means the creation, the creature, Jiva. And Pasam means the bondage, the bondage that Jiva is in. So, this is what Saiva Siddhanta teaches. So, that Pati is the Lord, the eternal Lord. The Lord resides in Arunachala. And the Lord is Arunachala. Everything is being given by Nandi in this one shloka. Arunachala is the place that deserves to be called as holy place. Of all the places, it is the greatest. Know that this is the heart center of the earth. It is Shiva himself. It is a secret place representing the heart. That is what is the Marumattalam. It is a secret place representing the heart. Lord Shiva always abides there as a glorious hill called Arunachala. So, it is established that by Nandi that the hill that we see there is not a granite rock, it is nothing but Shiva himself. And this assurance, or this is given by the stamp of authority of Nandikeshwara, the foremost of Shiva devotee. Nandikeshwara cannot live even for a second without having Shiva darshanam. He always has to be in front of Shiva. And incidentally, just a little deviation to talk about Nandikeshwara. Nandikeshwara was always sitting in front of Parvati and Parameshwara, and always constantly having their darshan. And at one point in time, there was a lot of things that had to be set right in the mortal world, like our world, like the earth, our planet, whatever you call it. A lot of things had to be set right. So he told Nandikeshwara, you take the role. You take the role of you go as a jivatma, you go as a human in human form, go to earth and teach the important things to the people. Nandikeshwara was taken aback. He is never used to leaving the sight of his Lord Parameshwara and his mother Gauri Mata. He had never done that, and he could not digest it. He said, Lord, what am I going to do? What is this? Is this a blessing or a curse? He was not sure. He was full of anxiety. And this is something, this is there in some Purana, this story I am telling. But it is, Muruganar had composed a magnum opus work called Ramana Sannidhi Murai. That's a big Tamil work. Bhagavan also was part of that composition in number of ways, in number of places. And the first, not in sequence, the first chapter that is featured in Ramana Sannidhi Murai is called Ramana Puranam. Just like how we have Shiva Puranam in Tiruvachagam, this starts with Ramana Puranam, because this work is adapted from the topics of Tiruvachagam. This Ramana Sannidhi Murai was adapted like that. And Shiva Puranam, half of Shiva Puranam was composed by Bhagavan, and half of it was composed, Ramana Puranam, half of it was composed by Muruganar. Muruganar composed, I think I'm going story inside story, but somehow we'll trace back to the main subject anyway, shortly. So Muruganar, when Muruganar started composing it, half of it was composed by Muruganar, as I told, and half by Bhagavan. And when the work was over, Muruganar did not give it any name, because he did not know. Shiva Puranam is a name already, it has been given to Manikavachakar's work. He did not know what name to give, so he left it like that. And he left the papers like that, and the next morning he comes and see, Bhagavan has written clearly Ramana Puranam. Muruganar was a little hesitant whether he should write Ramana Puranam or what to write, but Bhagavan has immediately, absolutely no doubt, this is nothing but Ramana Puranam. He gave the name Ramana Puranam for the first work in Ramana Sannidhi Murai. So that is the significance of that. And in that, the first 70 odd lines is dedicated to the story of Nandikeshwara, where Nandikeshwara is sitting in front of the Lord. The Lord asks him to go to earth in form of a human, in taking a human form, and do some work. And that Nandikeshwara was born as Manikyavachakar in the Pandya kingdom. So this is how then he composed, and the Lord comes down as his guru, as Manikyavachakar's guru, and Manikyavachakar composes Tiruvachagam and all that before going back to Kailasa, to his eternal abode. So this is how Nandi came. This is the greatness of Nandi, who will never leave the Lord's presence at any time, always be in front of the Lord. And such a Nandi, Nandikeshwara, who is the foremost of the Lord's devotees, has given this stanzas to us in form of Arunachala Mahatmyam, represented in Skanda Mahapurana, which is the biggest of all the 18 Puranas, Skanda Mahapurana. And as I was telling initially, Bhagavan has graciously written a big portion of Skanda Mahapurana, the entire Arunachala Mahatmyam, in his own hand, and we have it in the Sanskrit book called Swarnabahu, a portion of it. And so this is what Nandi says in the first thing. Arunachalam, that is the place. Arunachalam, there is no place higher than Arunachalam. Don't get confused. Arunachalam is Shiva himself. Arunachalam is not only a place, it is Shiva. It is Kailasa is the abode of Shiva. Arunachala is Shiva. Okay, so we have Arunachala as Shiva himself, And it is a very secret place because it is the heart. It represents the heart, and it is secret to the general public. Public won't know that the secret of this particular place. So that is the secret of Arunachala. So it is there shining as the heart. This is what Nandi says. And Adive Shivam, Lord Shiva always abides there as a glorious hill called Arunachala. So this is the nature, this is the tattva of Arunachala hill as explained by Nandikeshwara. And in the second stanza, he says, Adi Arunachala Ter Arpuda Linga Turukul Adinal Margaril Adiraya Jyoti Erum Isanai Mal Mun Amarar Etti Varipatanal Masi Sivaratiriam Atru. He says, this is again not in any, this composition is not in any sequential order. It's about Nandi saying a lot of things about Arunachala Kshetra, Arunachala's greatness. So he says how people started, how the festival called Adirai, Thiruvadirai is a most very, very important festival for Shiva. Thiruvadirai Nakshatram is there. So how this Thiruvadirai festival came about and how Shivaratri started, how we started celebrating Shivaratri as a festival, Nandikeshwara explains in this stanza that word. There are only two nakshatras in our entire cycle which has Thiru in front of it. One is Thiruvadirai, which is the nakshatra of our Lord himself, and the next is Thiruvonam, which is the nakshatra of Vishnu. So that is, it symbolizes the secret, the importance of Thiruvadirai. And so he says in the next stanza, Adi Arunachala Per Arpuda Linga Turukul. It means Adi Arunachala. Adi is a word in Tamil which represents original. Original is called Adi or the ancient, Puranic. Adi Arunachala Per. Per means great. Arpuda Linga Uru. Arpuda is wonderful of Lingam. Uru means the form. So Adi Arunachala Per Arpuda Linga Urukul. So the ancient day on which he, our Lord Shiva, assumed the form of Arunachala, the original great and wonderful Lingam, which first rose as a column of light between Brahma and Vishnu. This is the fight that we talked about even on our opening day, where he rose as in order to suppress the ego of Vishnu and Brahma. He stood as a stamba of light, as a column of light in between them. So the day on which he first rose as a column of light was Adirai in Margari. Margari in the Tamil month of Margari, in the nakshatram of Adirai. Adirai is Thiruvadirai, as we call it. Hero. So that particular day when the hill stood up, that day represents the Thiruvadirai, and we celebrate it as a Thiruvadirai festival every year. That comes when does it? Margari, just the day after or before Bhagavan's Jayanti. Bhagavan was born in Punarvasu, which is the next nakshatra after Thiruvadirai. So this is celebrated every year. That is when Nataraja is taken in big procession across all Shiva temples, and very popularly celebrated as one of the two Brahmotsavam in Chidambaram. This is the significance of this Thiruvadirai festival that we have. And the next one is, so this is about Adirai. The day on which Vishnu and other god praised and worshipped the Lord, who had risen in the form of a light, was Masi Sivaratri. That is in the month of Masi, on the night of Trayodasi. That is what is Sivaratri that we all celebrate. So that is the day when Brahma and Vishnu worshipped the column of light. Is Masi Sivaratri, and Nandikeshwara has given it in form of a poem to us. So that is the second thing. And this verse was composed by Bhagavan on Shivaratri day, on 24th February 1941. This particular verse, Bhagavan composed in Tamil from the original Sanskrit of Skanda Mahapuranam. It is interesting here to note that Bhagavan was born on Thiruvadirai, sacred day of Aridra. Even though his nakshatra is considered Punarvasu, he was born on that night when the procession was going around in the town of Tiruchui. The Thiruvadirai festival was being celebrated. So Bhagavan has a direct connection with this. And in every sense, Bhagavan will keep on having such very interesting connection with Arunachala, because he is nothing but Arunachala. Nothing for us to be surprised about. We can only enjoy it. There is no surprise, ultimately. Okay. So, the next part of the poem, first two stanzas were composed by Nandi. The next is Shiva Vakyam. Shiva himself says the following. What does Shiva say? Shiva says, Angi Uruvayum Oli Mangu Giriyaga. Angi means fire. Angi Uru means in the form of fire. Ayum, I was, though I was in form of fire. Shiva says all this. You have to think, imagine that Shiva is narrating these things. Angi Uruvayum Oli Mangu, of subdued light. Giriyaga, as hill. The big column of fire slowly loses its shine or reduces its shine and becomes a form of a solid hill. So in other yugas, now we are in Kali Yuga, in Treta Yuga, or whatever other yugas, it was form of fire itself. The Arunachala hill was in form of fire. And in one yuga it was in form of ruby, the red stone. It was in form of that. And then now in Kali Yuga it is form of a granite stone. It is come like that. So Tangal. Ange Uruvaya Ayum Mangu Giriyaga Tangal. Tangal means remaining, to stay. Inge Tangi po, we say, which means stay, to stay. Tangal. So Aruna, the hill stays. As Aruna, as in form of a hill, Shiva stays there. The column of light subdues for the sake of general public, and it becomes a hill. So Tangal Arulal Ulagam Tanguvadarku. Due to my grace, the world, in order to protect. So, this is all said by, as I told you, by our Lord Shiva. Though I was originally in the form of fire, my remaining now as hill of subdued light is due to my grace in order to protect the world. Because if he is in form of fire, who is going to be able to see him at all? It's not going to be. So, out of his compassion, out of his grace, he took the form of the hill and stayed as hill to protect the world. Moreover, I ever abide here as a Siddha named Arunagiri Yogi. Even now, Bhagavan has also confirmed that on the northern slopes of Arunachala hill, Arunagiri Yogi is even today in form of a Siddha sitting there, invisible to us, that's another thing. But Arunagiri Yogi's presence is there in the Arunachala hill even today. That's what Shiva himself says. Moreover, I ever abide here as Siddha, a sage named Arunagiri Yogi. Know that within me shines caves surging with many enjoyments, bhoga. There are so many inside. Bhagavan has also confirmed this, that he has had clear vision of what is within the Arunachala hill. There are big metropolitan city inside the hill. Everything, any enjoyment you name, bhoga, everything is there within the confines, within the hill. This is all stated by Bhagavan. That he has seen it, he has witnessed it clearly. And that's Shiva's Vakya. Shiva said in this Purana that this is by nature. Though I was originally in form of fire, my remaining now as hill of. Now, the next song again. This is by Shiva. This is all part of Shiva Vakya. Ella ulagum tagai avviyalal polla vinaigal runamam pugalid illa aduvam edugan uralal ellar arunachalamam iduve. Ella ulagum means all the worlds. Tagai are bound. In their nature, all the world, any world you can conceptualize, be it Brahmaloka, be it Shivaloka, be it Vaikunda, whatever it is, all of them, bondage is there in every world. Anything that is conceived by mind has bondage. It is there. It cannot escape. So, Avviyalal, because it is like that, Polla Vinaigal, vicious action, all our karma, Runam means all our bondage. Pugal. Runaman Pugal. It means all the bondages for all the people in all the world who are tied by bondage, they come as refuge to Arunachala. Arunachala is the place for all the people to come as a refuge. So, if you see, Pugala Id Illad Aduvam, becoming non-existent, Kannal, or seeing that. Ellar Arunachalam is the effulgent Arunachalam indeed. Now I am going to give the meaning. That will make it more clear. I wanted to give the important words, the meaning for important words. Now the thing is, since their karma, that is their nature, is to bind all the world, the vicious action. So karma will always bind, is given here. Wherever it is, you go and do karma in the best of the places. You go and do any karma in Vaikunta or in Kailasa, wherever, karma will create bondage. Is clearly declared. Karma will always declare, you cannot escape. The karma may produce fruits which are good or bad according to the nature of the karma, but it will not remain without giving the fruit. And in order to enjoy, the fruit has to be enjoyed. And in order to enjoy the fruit, we'll have to take a body and get stuck again and again. This is the cycle known as samsara. We are never ever going to come out of it. Even if you do one small act, that act will produce a result. We'll have to take a body, we'll have to have one full janma to clear it. And while in the janma, we'll do 1,000 karma, and that will keep clearing. Look at that cycle. Where is it going to end? This can end only by means of realizing the self. That is when the self is realized, immediately all the karmas are burnt away totally. So, the only way to really escape the cycle of birth and death is not completing all your karma, because nobody is going to be able to complete all the karma which is there in the store, because new karmas will keep on generating. The only way is to realize the self and burn all the karma once and for all. Then the samsara comes to an end. This is the crux of the Vedanta, especially the Advaita part of the Vedanta. Now, Shiva says, since their nature, the nature of karma is to bind all the worlds. The vicious actions, that is karma or bondage, they are runa. They all cause bondage wherever you do. This hill, indeed, is the effulgent Arunachala, the hill that destroys bondage. Again, this hill is symbolically is the representation of self. Arunachala is the self. So, when we say the hill, when we see the hill, we have to only immediately equate it to the self, our own self. So, what happens? This hill indeed is the effulgent Arunachala, the hill that destroys bondage, the refuge, by seeing which they all become non-existent. So, this is again, Shiva himself says, the moment you look at Arunachala, either through your mind or through your eyesight, whichever is available for you at that time, all your karmas will be made into bhasma, will be burned. Summarily, nothing will be there. That is the greatness of Arunachala. That is the greatness of self-realization in the internal meaning, in the depth of its meaning. In the general meaning, just have a vision of Arunachala through your eyes or through your mind. Okay, so this is what is the next Shiva Vakya, and there are more details. I cannot go because this itself will become a big subject. So we'll just see what Shiva said, because we need to know, all of us enjoy Arunachala, all of us cherish Arunachala beyond, more than anything else. I'm sure all of us have the same kind of feeling about Arunachala. Arunachala is everything for us. So we'll know about the greatness of Arunachala from Nandi's words, from Shiva's words, and then from Parvati's words. Now we are seeing the Shiva's words. Urutteri Yellai, Uttu Kan Uttral. This is the fifth song. Karuttinal Dura Karidinal Umme, Aruttamurad Varada Vedanta, Arutta Vijnanam Arkum Undane. This is a beautiful utterance. Urutteri Yellai, that is the form which is of visibility within the limit. Uttu being Kan Uttral, if you see. Kan Uttral, Kannal, if you see it with eye. Or Karuttinal Dura Karidinalu, from far away place, you will think of that with your mind. Varuttamurad Varada, by striving hard, Varuttam, you have to physically strive hard, learn. Only then the essence of Vedanta can be obtained. But Shiva says that essence of Vedanta, the ultimate essence of Vedanta, like Mahavakyas, the meaning of Mahavakyas, Tattvamasi as Aham Brahmasmi. So all that will immediately come to you if you are seeing the hill of me, that is Shiva, in form of with your external eyes, or if you consider me sitting wherever in the world in your mind. So you will get the essence of the entire Vedanta. So what is the entire Vedanta? It can easily be summarized just Arunachala. our own Arunachala, that's all, which we see in form of the hill today. That is why we go around Arunachala, Parikrama of Arunachala, everything. For us, Arunachala is everything. So Shiva says here, that is the best part. Shiva gives authority, stamp of authority in Arunachala Mahatmyam of Skanda Mahapuranam, which is the most important Puranam of all. So Shiva says, consider either see me with your eyes or see me with your mental eyes. Even if you are a faraway place, then all the concepts of Vedanta will clearly come to you. Okay, this is the next one. And the next one is very interesting song where Bhagavan, one day, some pious, I think one Swamiji from, I think, Shrinkeri, from Shrinkeri Mat, he came to visit Bhagavan, and Bhagavan was very young. He was taken away by Bhagavan. I mean, he thought Bhagavan is the Loka Mahaguru. Bhagavan is everything. So he said, but he was feeling that Bhagavan, he was having a thought in his heart saying that even though Bhagavan is like this, it would be appropriate if Bhagavan can be taken to Shrinkeri, and from the Acharya, if we can get a formal Diksha. So he thought this is how this will be more appropriate, and so he requests Bhagavan, we are very, very fond of you. We want to take you there. Nothing, it's a simple process, and you will be taken care of very well. And our Mahasanidhanam, I think it was Shiva Nabhinava Saraswati, Bharati at that time. He was before Chandrasekhara Bharati.
Satchidananda Shiva Narasimha Bharati.
Satchidananda Shiva Abhinava Bharati. He is the one who is given the credit of identifying Kaladi, the birthplace of Adishankara. Okay. So I think it was him. So when Bhagavan, when this Swami, he is a very pious Swami, very fond of Bhagavan, but he felt in his heart that Bhagavan should get a formal Diksha, so he requested. Bhagavan did not answer, he just kept quiet. And that Swami, he went out, he said he'll go to the town and come back in an hour or two, and Bhagavan, can you please reply, can you give me your answer? So he went. Bhagavan was thinking, what is this, what is happening? He did not want to offend him also because he is very sincere, pious and all that. But at the same time, Bhagavan was not one bit interested, obviously. So how do you do this? So Bhagavan, at that time, there was one, somebody who had come and left a copy of Arunachala Mahatmyam in original Sanskrit in front of Bhagavan, in Bhagavan's custody, and went off somewhere. And Bhagavan normally never takes anything from anyone's bag. Bhagavan was curious. Should I not open the bag and see? He's got some book. Let me see what it is. Something prompted Bhagavan to do this. He opens the book and he sees Arunachala Mahatmyam. And he randomly opens a page. This particular sloka of Shiva comes to his mind. The sloka is Yojanai Moondram Ittala Vasarku Asar Dikshay Adi Indriyum Yen Pasamil Sayujyam Payakkumme Isanam Yendan Anayinane. It means, Yojanai means a measure, like we have kilometers, we have mile and all that. In that, Yojana is a measure. I think Yojana means roughly it equates to about 9 or 10 miles is one Yojana. It was used in those days, that measurement was used. So he says, Ishvara says, Yojanai Moondram Ittala Vasarku. Whoever is residing within a 30-kilometer radius of this hill Arunachala, for them what happens? Asar Dikshay, they don't need any Diksha of any form for attaining anything. Nothing is needed. But what will happen? Without any such Diksha, just by the virtue of residing within 30-kilometer range of Arunachala hill, all their bondage will be burned. And by Shiva, he will burn without any formal initiation, without anything. Just all you have to do is simple. Live within this range of Arunachala. That is what Shiva says. And what he says, Sayujyam Payakkume. Sayujyam is the state of non-dual union with Shiva. It will happen. And he says, in the final word, Ishanam Yandan Anayinane. By my ordaining, this is my command, he says, Ishvara says. By my command, whoever lives within 30-kilometer radius, 3 yojanas, within of this hill, will attain the highest state of non-dual, culmination with me, union with me, without any diksha. So Bhagavan, he opens this book and he gets this. He immediately writes that sloka and keeps it for this Swami from Sringeri to Kamba. So when the Swami came, he read that. He was more than satisfied. He bowed down to Bhagavan and took leave of Bhagavan, went back to Sringeri. So this is how this particular sloka came about. Suddenly, some prompt, look at that, Bhagavan never was in the habit of touching anybody's property. That time some curiosity came in and he wanted to open the bag, take the top book, open some page and find this sloka as an answer for that Swami from Sringeri. So this sloka came about. So there are two things. In the previous sloka, it is said, either you do, whether you are able to come to Tiruvannamalai or not, it is okay. You think of me from wherever, from New York, from wherever, it does not matter. That is enough. And in this sloka, this has to be given as a specific answer to the Swami who prompted that, who was forcing Bhagavan or who was requesting Bhagavan again and again to come to Sringeri to take Diksha. So he says, Diksha is not needed for people and I am very much with Arunachala. So he said, people who are there, for that purpose this particular song was composed. But it is true because it is Shiva Vakya and Shiva says it is by command that such a thing will happen. Look at the power of residing in Arunachala. What can you say? What else can you say? Only few people are getting the opportunity of living in Arunachala. That is why most people who come to Arunachala, some grace pulls them in and they are not able to go back. We have a lot of examples. I don't want to name anyone, but it is all known. It is all known to us. And so this is the song, and the next song is composed by Devi Parvati. This is again this song. There are plenty of songs in this same meaning composed by Parvati, when advice given by Parvati when the Mahishasura, when she was killing, when the war with Mahishasura took place in Arunachala, and she took the form of Durga Amba, and quite a lot of, there is a big Purana behind it, and as to how it happened, the killing of Mahishasura, and Devi comes out and says, I'm giving you a last chance, I'm going to give you a warning. Now heed to my warning, otherwise you will go to face the consequence. This song, the warning is given. What is that warning? Endrume aravor anbarku irupidam ittalandan. Ever for the righteous devotees, this abode is the holy place is the abode for staying. Pundruvar ittalandan, pundruvar pirak inna un punmayar palnoi tunni. Whoever base people with base mind comes here and disturbs the righteous minded people who are living here in this place, what will happen to them? Now we'll see. Devi says, this holy place alone is ever the abode for righteous people and devotees. Here, base people who intend to harm others will perish by being afflicted with many diseases, and the power of the wicked will be lost in a second without leaving a trace. Therefore, do not fall into the fierce fire of anger of Lord Arunachala, whose form is the hill of fire. So he says, the implicatory meaning is, do not disturb any people who are living here peacefully, all the devotees. Don't do any harm, either in mind or in body or in deed, to any one of the devotees that is living here. If you do that, Arunachala will not spare you. Arunachala the devotees of Arunachala are so dear to Arunachala that he won't spare you. If you do any harm to anyone, any devotee of Arunachala, you will face these consequences. You will be having all the diseases, and you will be destroyed in no time. In a second, Arunachala will not hesitate to destroy you. Please listen to this advice. There are 10 songs like this in the same vein, advising Mahishasura by Umadevi. And the first of them is this song, and Bhagavan wanted to just translate this particular song in Tamil, and he has given that. So, this is the Arunachala Mahatmya, just a small gist of Arunachala Mahatmya. that we sing as the first song on every Monday evening in the Tamil Parayana in Ramanashram. Okay, so I wanted to cover this because I wanted to get soak in the feeling of Arunachala.